Moving over to some Falcons players, let's start off by talking about the QB, Kirk Cousins. He was flag surfing after the game with the Atlanta Falcons fans. And it was just great to see because this is a guy that has went through so much adversity. He tore his ACL last year. And, through everything, he has been able to bounce back and be a really good quarterback. There was a reputation that, primetime Kirk isn't good. He can't win the primetime games. And at the start of his career, that was pretty true. He really didn't show up when the right lights were on. But over the past couple of years, he's been a lot better in those games. And I don't think it's fair to judge Kirk Cousins by who he was, 7-10 years ago compared to where he is now, because he's a completely different quarterback. And just being in the game for so long, he's really learned the intricacies of the sport and has become a very, very good quarterback. As I said earlier, he broke the Falcons' record for passing yards in a game on Matt Ryan night, no less. Matt Ryan had 503 one time, and Kirk Cousins' pass game had 509 and 4 passing touchdowns. And the thing about Kirk that I really want to focus on here is, yes, obviously he's had great wide receivers like Justin Jefferson, and Drake London's not on that level yet, but Drake London as well. He's had really talented receivers around him, but he also is very good at utilizing a lot of different players. For example, Darnell Mooney had a really good game this past week against the Bucs, and not only did he have a really good game, his production was just about on par with Drake London. But it's not just Drake London and Darnell Mooney and Kyle Pitts. He's not just using the big three either. He consistently gets the ball out to other guys too, like Ray McCloud, and just utilizes a lot of Falcons players in the offense. And I think that's really cool to see, because this is a team that, yes, it's led by guys on offense in terms of their skill players. The main guys are Bijan Robinson, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts. But to be able to utilize other guys, you've got other players on this team too that are very young and have a lot of potential, like Darnell Mooney. He's still pretty young. Like Ray McCloud, who's having a breakout year in terms of his expectations versus his actual performance. And Tyler Algier has been a very good running back as well. So, in general, you've got a lot of pieces on this Falcons offense, and Kirk Cousins is able to distribute the ball to all of them. And maybe it's not always even, because obviously you're going to want to throw to your number one wide receiver more often than not. But Kirk Cousins does a really good job at spreading the ball around, and I think that's great for the Falcons and just what they need, really. Because the argument, was we need a guy that can use our stars like London, like Pitts, like B-Rob. But you also, if you just throw to those guys, your offense becomes very predictable, and teams can just cover those guys. But Kirk Cousins is able to not just utilize those guys well, he's able to maximize the talent of everybody else on this Falcons roster too. So Kirk Cousins has been great as an Atlanta Falcon. Despite, the slow start in week 1, Kirk Cousins is an elite quarterback. If you enjoyed this video, it would be great if you could find it in you to like, subscribe, maybe check out the full podcast on Spotify, follow us on there, follow us on Instagram. I know realistically this podcast isn't going to go anywhere ultimately, whether it's via the segments on YouTube or the entire podcast itself. But I want to get into the sports broadcasting business. I want to be able to promote thought-provoking discussions about the NBA, and I would love to do it via State of the Association. Thank you if you made it all the way through.